Hi everyone, it's Dot, and today we're going to be making a very traditional dish for St. Patrick's Day. We're going to be making a corned beef and cabbage, and the star of the show is this guy right here. This is my corned beef. I'm going to cook this on the stovetop. Now you certainly can also cook this in a slow cooker as well as in the oven, but I like doing it in my Dutch oven. Normally you'd see the meat unpackaged. It's not unpackaged for a reason, and once we get over to my stove you'll see why. So I'm going to put that aside. The first thing I am going to do is I'm going to crack open some coriander seeds. And the main reason I'm doing that is because I want them slightly cracked open before I put them in with the brisket that I'm using. So I'm going to see if I can do it by hand. Ah, I love that sound. I just wanted them slightly cracked, and a few of them cracked open. The smaller ones I'm going to use this guy for. There we go. That's what I want to hear. So all I'm going to do is put these in here, and that just to get some more flavor out of them. And I'm going to actually be careful in putting them back in here. My goal here is to get as much of the juice that's already in here in my Dutch oven. That's why I didn't unpackage it prior to starting the video. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this open. Now, if you buy your briskets or a corned beef brisket ready to go, they usually come with a seasoned packet that you can use, and these are perfectly good to use. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm decided to do a different type of seasoning here simply because these have chili peppers in here, and we've recently discovered my husband really can't eat chili peppers. It just upsets his digestive system too much. So much for that. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and pour the juice in here as much as I can along with the brisket. That's what I want. All right, as you can see, I got some of the juice in here, and this is nice and juicy too. Now, I'm not going to sear my brisket. Instead, I'm going to add my seasoning to it right now, which is some peppercorns, whole cloves, whole allspice berries, and my coriander that I cracked. So that's what's going to go into this pot. Next thing I'm going to do is I want the brisket covered with water. So I'm going to head over to my sink, wash my hands up first, and then I'm going to load this up with water. Bring your water to a boil. Got my boil going. I'm going to turn it down because I want it to get to a simmer, and I'm going to cover it. And it's going to stay covered for the next 2.5 to 3 hours. Got about 45 minutes or so until the brisket's done. So now we're going to start working on the vegetables. Still got about a half hour to go on the meat, but what I want to do is check it, and all you need is a fork, and you're just going to see if you can pierce it. You want it to be fork tender. That went in fairly easily, but this big piece right here, I still have some resistance. It's not going in that easily. So what I'm going to do is keep this on heat, but I'm going to add my vegetables. And I'm going to add actually the cabbage first, and you may need a pair of tongs. If not, you're going to basically put it in wedge form. Some of them, like the top one, will come loose, and that's fine. But yeah, I'm going to be cooking the cabbage in here with it. And it doesn't matter if the cabbage is fully submerged or not, it's going to float. Got that. And now we're going to add the carrots. And you want to be careful with the carrots because you don't want to splash at all. Now it's going to cook for 30 more minutes. I just checked. The brisket is definitely fork tender. You want to take the brisket out, but the vegetables are going to stay in. So this might be a 2-tong job because you're trying to dig it out. I certainly don't want it falling apart. And then what I'm doing here is I'm making sure none of the seeds come with it that I put in here, none of my spices. And I'll double check it before I serve. But I'm going to put it here, carefully cover back up my vegetables. These are going to cook for about another 20 minutes. While these are still cooking, you're going to loosely tent the brisket. Not very tight. And it's going to sit for 20 minutes. How about that? And then everything will be done. Vegetables are done cooking. I still have them in the pot. I haven't fished them out yet, but let me just say I've been calling this brisket because the cut of meat is a brisket. However, it has been seasoned before I got a hold of it, so it is now corned beef. I'm only saying that because my husband was very confused. So just in case anyone else was confused or, sort of eyebrows went up when I said brisket when I meant corned beef. It's one and the same. So I'm opening this up, and mainly what I'm doing, it still is warm, I'm flipping this off of here because I want it to check, and yep, there we go. Right there, we have a peppercorn and we have another peppercorn. This is something we don't want people to bite into. Just wouldn't be very nice. And here's one in the corner over here. So again, I'm just double checking to make sure. It looks like I have them officially all out. So I'm gonna put these peppercorns off of here, and I'm gonna go ahead and carve this. Now you wanna carve against the grain. The grain is going this way, so I'm gonna go this way. It might just start falling apart because it's that tender. It has a nice red look to it, and the meat is so soft. It's actually just falling apart. It looks great. While I was getting the vegetables out of the pot, a certain somebody who I will not name was busy digging around in here, and he definitely sampled quite a bit. And I think he enjoyed it very much. At least the yummy sounds he was making me told me that he did. Well, anyway, this is the corned beef and cabbage with some carrots on the side. One thing he did not get that I made, that he did not realize I made, was a horseradish sauce. Now, you didn't show this on video because I've already done this on another video, which is my rib roast video. I'll link to that below, and also the directions on how to make this sauce. But it's a creamy horseradish sauce. I'm just gonna put a little bit on, just dribble it on. It thickens up really nicely in the refrigerator, so I'm not putting on that much. You must give this a nice little taste. And I'm not even sure why I have the knife out. This sucker don't need it, but I guess the cabbage will. So anyway, let me go ahead. I'm gonna take a small piece of this. Yeah, it just breaks apart nice and easily. I'm gonna put a little more sauce on here. All right. Okay, the corned beef is fabulous. I absolutely love this. It's wonderful. The seasonings I added to it were really mellow and really nice. You could definitely taste a bit of the cloves and also the allspice in there, but it wasn't overpowering. It just tastes wonderful. It's so nice, and it's moist and very, very tender. Amazing. Perfect. Perfect with the horseradish sauce too. I'm gonna have a little bit of the cabbage, just a taste. And I will say this, when you're cooking it in wedges like this, you don't have to. I did that because you can then easily divvy them up. But I put 6 wedges in there, and only 4 came out. Again, happy St. Paddy's Day. Here's some cabbage. Okay, the seasoning really works really well with this cabbage. It has a lovely flavor to it. I can definitely taste a bit of the cloves on the with the cabbage, and it also takes on the flavors obviously of the corned beef as well. It takes a little time to make, but it's really easy to make. You just gotta trust the fact that you just need to cook your brisket just until it's fork tender, a few hours, put it in your Dutch oven, put it on low after the boil, and just let it go. No peeking, you don't need to. But wow, it really does pack a punch, and it's a great way to celebrate St. Paddy's Day. And it's low carb. Now, yes, there are carrots here, and carrots traditionally they're low carb, but not as low carb as cabbage. Don't worry about it. You're not having a Coca-Cola, okay? It's a carrot, not a big deal. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a very happy St. Paddy's Day. And until next time, I'll see ya.